Hello, everyone, and welcome to 716 Sports Blizzard. Today, my special guest is Jonathan, and we will be covering some Bills and Sabres talk.
Well, Robbie, I have two questions for you to begin. First question: are the Bills good enough to win the Super Bowl?
I think the answer will be that the Bills are good enough to win the Super Bowl, but can they get there and beat the Chiefs?
They have the talent to do so, but they did it 4 years in a row in a regular season, but they got half their roster during the offseason. Yet here they are, 9-2, right behind Kansas City. The three elite teams of the NFL are Buffalo, Kansas City, and Detroit. You got a couple of maybes. Like a few weeks ago, I was sold on Baltimore. Not anymore. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia are they have good records, but I'm not impressed with them. Then you have maybe Green Bay or Minnesota or. So what are your thoughts, Robbie?
Well, right now I'm watching the Philadelphia Eagles and the Rams game because the Bills play the 49ers and then they play the Rams. So the Bills coming out of their bye, I think this is going to be the tough part of our schedule.
I don't think so. The only team that San Francisco is having a down year. I am not at all impressed them. The Rams are okay, average, but I'm not really impressed. The only team that's going to be tough is Detroit. And then we got the Jets, the Patriots, the Jets, and the Patriots again. So we should easily be 14-3, maybe 15-2. I'm hoping that Detroit game is a Super Bowl preview, the Ralph Wilson Super Bowl, which would be called. 0-0. Hurts back to pass. Hurts rolling along to the right hand line. Throws it deep. Caught by number 11. But all right, go ahead, Robbie. Next question.
Well, the Buffalo Sabres are coming off a 3-game road trip in California there where
And they won all 3 games. Robbie, that brings us to our second question. Are the Sabres good enough to make the playoffs?
Well, to answer your question, I think the Sabres are good enough to make the playoffs. But
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
and because they have the talent there to do it this year.
Yes, I agree. This is starting to look more and more like the team we had 2 years ago. The team that was 1 point away from breaking the drought. And especially at offense, when they're healthy, Thompson, Tuck, and Paterka is a great line. I'll say, when we had Thompson, Tuck, and Skinner, I would say that was the best line the Sabres have had since LaFontaine, McGillney, and Howard Chuck in the 90s. And that Paterka has done a great job. I think Paterka will replace Skinner's production.
Yes, and I think JJ Paterka and Alex Tuck, I think that they're gonna be a good line together.
Yes, I agree. I also have to say that I really like Ryan McLeod. Owen Powers get it together, and This is a really exciting time to be a Buffalo sports fan.
Yes, I agree with you. I think it's
On this team here, who's thinking we got a touchdown first?
Probably the Eagles. It's like, go ahead, Robbie.
I think it's gonna be a good year for the Sabres and for the Bills.
Oh yes, I mean yes. Nothing's guaranteed. I mean, of course the Bills are not guaranteed to make the win the Super Bowl, and the Sabres are not guaranteed to make the playoffs. But I think they both have a good chance to do that. And the Bills, I'd say this is probably the most talented team they've had in the Allen B. McDermott era. Their best record since 1990. Last time they had that record was 1992. 1993. The last time they went to the Super Bowl.
Question for you: do you think the Bills can get to the 1 seed this year and get the bye?
Ooh, I'm gonna say yes because I feel like the only tough opponent left in the left on the schedule is Detroit. But we see this year from year for Sean McDermott teams. His teams always get hot late in the season. Like last year, they were 6-6 after losing to Philadelphia, and then they got it. And then they went on a run and lost before they lost to Philadelphia. Before they lost to Kansas City in the playoffs. And the Chiefs. I mean, what's good thing about this year is I think they finally have a tough division. For the last couple of years, the AFC West was bad. But now, I mean, the Raiders are still bad. But I think the Chargers and the Broncos are going to give the Chiefs fits. So I think they are going to get the number 1 seed. What about you, Robbie? Do you agree?
I think I agree with you. Yes, I think that like if the Bills can lose probably one more game, I think we would be okay to make it to the 1 seed.
Yeah, I think 14-3 will be enough. I mean, yeah, I think the Chiefs. I mean, they barely beat the Carolina Panthers today. Robbie, next question. Are the Kansas City Chiefs frauds? Or are they still the favorites to win the Super Bowl?
Well, I want to say that they can contend for another year maybe, but I think this year might be the Bills' year to get to the Super Bowl.
I hope you're right. And there's a good chance this year, but I cannot call, just because they barely beat the Panthers, I cannot call them frauds. They still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have Andy Reid. They're still a dominant team. Yes, they don't always win pretty, but ugly wins are still wins. The Chiefs keep finding ways to win games. But with that said, it probably is going to be a coin toss between either Buffalo or Kansas City. Who's going to be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl? I mean, there's a couple of teams you got to look out for: Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I mean, Houston. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like a lot of our other division conference rivals, I'm like, they don't look that impressive to me. Next question, Robbie.
Do you think the Bills sweep the season series between them and the Jets and them and the Patriots?
Yes, the Jets. Because I mean, their season has completely fallen. I'm gonna lean towards yes, unless they go in that final game against New England. It's gonna be a rest the starters game. I mean, both the Jets and the Patriots are having disastrous seasons. Like Aaron Rodgers, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for the Jets. The Patriots are a terrible team, but I do think CJ Stroud is good. It makes me angry because the Patriots had 20 years of success under Tom Brady, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think CJ Stroud's good. So, yeah, but I think we will go 6-0 in the division unless we rest our starters in that final game against New England.
The Patriots have Drake May.
Drake May. My bad. Wah, wah, wah. But as I said, I really like, the Patriots are a terrible team, but I do like Drake May. I think the guy is going to be good.
And CJ Stroud has been playing pretty good for Houston, so
I say good, but he's been. He and the Texans are disappointing this year. I thought. Grant's only his second season, but I expected more out of Houston. I was thinking they would become a legit Super Bowl contender. They're anything but. They lost to the Tennessee Titans today, and they're like 7-5. They're just. Houston's been very disappointing. Things are really shaping up to be Buffalo's year if Kansas City stumbles.
Who is Kansas City's next opponents that they have to face?
I'll have to look it up. Did you see the game against the Panthers today, Robbie?
I saw the end when Kansas City had to kick the field goal. I was like, miss, and it went in. But
they're against the Las Vegas Raiders. The next post, they have the Raiders, the Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers, and Broncos. But hey, the Browns are giant killers. The Browns are terrible this year, but they beat the Steelers and they beat the Ravens. That's how crazy the AFC North and the NFL is this year.
True. And the Sabres play again on Wednesday. Wednesday against Minnesota. And they play Saturday against the Islanders.
Yeah, the Sabres are going to have a lot of positive momentum headed this week. They sweep the three California teams with Tage Thompson out of the lineup. Now they get 4 days rest. They'll have home ice advantage. Tage Thompson should be back. And like I said, I think Thompson's back to where it was 2 years ago. Last year, he was injured, and the Sabres rushed him back because they were desperate because their season was falling apart. This year, they gave Thompson a little bit more time to rest. I think he's going to explode. And then after that Minnesota game, they got Vancouver, and then they go to face the Islanders.
Yeah, and with the Bills being on Sunday Night Football next week, do you think that Josh Allen will shine and be himself after the bye week?
Oh yes, Allen is just is on to play at another level. That game-winning touchdown against Kansas City, he's just a freak of nature, and he's playing probably his best football of his career. Yes, I think he's going to explode, and I think James Cook is going to explode as well.
When should the Bills expect Matt Milano to be back in the lineup?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Probably sometime in the next 2 games. You don't want to rush him back. But But the Bills also need him for a playoff run, and they especially need him for that number 1 seed run. I'm gonna say probably the Rams game. But
Would you say the Rams or Detroit?
ooh, actually, I'm gonna change my mind. I mean, this is beating McDermott's decision, but I'm gonna go Detroit because I think I'll trust Buffalo to beat San Francisco and the Rams because neither of those teams are really that good. But they need Matt Milano back when they face the Detroit Lions. Because, like I said, this, fingers crossed, is a Super Bowl preview. And, I mean, the Bills need to be 100% healthy. So I'm going to say Detroit. Robbie, do you agree with me?
Yeah, I would say like bring him back for Detroit, and then maybe rest him for the last 3.
All right, Robbie, I'll ask you the question of the Sabres. Do you think they made the right call benching Tage Thompson for the Sabres? When do you think they should bring back Tage Thompson? Do you think they should be in the next game versus Minnesota?
I would say bring him back like maybe Minnesota, maybe even Vancouver.
I'm leaning towards Minnesota because I think they could have brought him back versus San Jose, but they thought, okay, San Jose is the easy opponent, no need to rush it. Now the Sabres get 4 days rest, so I think he should be ready versus Minnesota. So that's another reason to be excited for Buffalo sports this year because they get healthy, and the Rams nearly score a touchdown, but the Eagles managed to stop at the 10. Cooper Kupp.
And Eagles kicked a field goal, so
The Eagles have kicked the field goal, so they're up 3-0. But Stafford passed it to, I believe that's no, but that's not Kupp. That's McCann, and yeah, and now they'll get it in close down the end zone.
no, that's
Nakua, sorry, Puka Nakua, my bad. Nakua, my bad. It was Nakua who almost scored there, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I think like some of the like Bills like Shakir oh, who's another wide receiver on the Bills? Cooper.
Hollins,
Yeah, Mac Hollins.
Coleman, yeah, Samuel. I mean, that's what I really love about this Bills team. All the young wide receivers are really emerging, and it's really exciting. The future's gonna be really exciting. Stafford back to pass. Stafford throws it. Incomplete, but a flag. Pass interference against Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Daniel was predicting a touchdown, but the Rams didn't get it, but it's going to be a pass interference call against the Eagles. Sirianni's arguing with the ref. He's a terrible coach. He needs to be fired.
I think like this is the referee we had last week.
Yeah, I know the referees made some. I know we're against the Kansas City Chiefs, so of course seems like the refs always favor the Chiefs. There was some face mask calls. We'll see the touchdown. Daniel for the touchdown. Back to pass. So he runs, hands off to the running back, and he's in for the touchdown. Touchdown! Williams puts the Rams on the board, and they take a 7-3 lead. And Daniel's laughing at a little dance he's done. No.
Just Jackson.
Do you think the Bills do you think it'll be like not that easy against the Bills to get a touchdown like that?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills are getting healthy. I'm really happy to see Von Miller get back up there, improve his play. But yeah, I really like what I see for the Bills' defense thus far.
Do you think that like the like Von Miller, do you think he's like gone after this season? Like after
Yes, he's improved this year, but I think the Bills should cut ties with him, save up some more salary cap, and find a younger player to replace him. I mean, that's what makes this all exciting because we get I mean, with the Bills, I mean, like I said, they have some. They're having a great year this year, and what was supposed to be a reset, retool year. Then next year they're going to have even more salary cap space to play around with. So this team could get even better next year. So if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, they'll have a great shot for the next couple of years.
like we got Greg Russo.
Groot. I mean, he has been an absolute machine. Like Groot has just been just. I mean, I believe he leads the team in sacks. He just takes the defense to a whole nother level.
What do you think about Terrell Bernard or Williams?
Oh, they've been great. I mean, Saint Bernard Williams. I mean, we praise the offense, but we haven't talked much about the defense and how they've managed to shut the mighty Patrick Mahomes. How they were able to shut Patrick Mahomes down in the second half last week. And I'll give credit to Sean McDermott for coming up with these great defensive schemes. I've been highly critical of him ever since 13 seconds, but I feel like he is improving as a coach.
Do you think like the defensive coordinator Bobby Babich and also the offensive coordinator Joe Brady are doing like a good job game planning for the week's games that they prepare for?
Yes, the Bills are 16-4 ever since they fired ever since they fired Ken Dorsey and replaced him with Joe Brady. I mean, they're not perfect. I certainly have my criticisms with the play calling, but they've done more good than bad. I mean, that pretty much sums up Bean, McDermott, Babbage, Woods. I mean, there are issues I have every now and then. Like, I don't like some of the play calling, like, hey, when they go run, pass, and they get a little too predictable. But for the most part, I really like what they've built here. Now let's switch gears to the Sabres. Robbie, what do you think? Do you think hiring Lindy Ruff was the right hire?
I think it was a good hire for the Sabres to
bring back Ruff. I will agree. I mean, I didn't like how he was hired within a week, but the Sabres really needed an experienced head coach to get this team back on track. And it's no surprise that Lindy Ruff has them playing back to where they were 2 years ago. I mean, last year, Don Granato was a huge disappointment. And now Ruff has this team humming. The power play is, after an awful start, they've scored like 7 games in a row on the power play.
yeah. And like watching the game last night, the power play looked good. Like, and I think bringing Lindy Ruff and having Seth Appert as an assistant coach, I think that
Yes, I will agree. Seth Appert did a great job. Seth Appert did a great job in Rochester, and as I said, 2 years ago, he got the Amherst to the conference finals. They won 4 playoff rounds. Before that, the Amherst had not won a playoff series since 2005. So Seth Appert is a smart hockey mind, and yes, I think it was also the right call to make him the an assistant.
I think it was too.
So, let's see. We got 4 more minutes to ask another question. We'll ask Daniel. Hey, Daniel, do you think the Bills are good enough to win the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And do you think the Sabres are good enough to make the playoffs? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. He says yes to both, and I think 2025 is going to be a special. Could be a big letdown as well, but I think it's going to be a special year for Buffalo sports.
Did you watch the UB game against Eastern Michigan?
I missed it, but I did see some of the highlights. Like Eastern Michigan scored a 70-yard touchdown, that UB responded with a 70-yard touchdown. I mean, they're having a good year as well. They're bowl eligible.
Yeah, I'm possibly going to the game Tuesday when they play Kent State.
Have fun. I'm gonna go to the Amherst game in late December. Now they're the one. I'd say they're the one sports team that I'm not happy about, because they just lost 5-1 to a 1-win team, and they're having a very disappointing season thus far.
Well, my friends over at 24/7 Buff Fandemonium also just did their 200th episode of their podcast. So I want to give them a shout out on this show. Because I did have one of their members on this show, Scott Reed from 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. I had him on. Like when I was doing the pre-recorded version of the show. Like when I had Ranting Ron on the shows.
That's good here.
And that's how you and I met, was through Ron.
Yeah, I remember that. We met through Ron, and then the rest is history. We started our own podcast, and the rest is history. Glad to have you aboard, Robbie.
True. And what do you think of the Harbaugh Bowl tomorrow night?
I'm looking forward to that. I think Jim Harbaugh was the right hire for the Chargers, and I think they're going to be a good team for the next couple of years, and they're going to give the Chiefs trouble in the AFC West. John Harbaugh and the Ravens, I think John Harbaugh is a good coach, but you look at how the Ravens kind of stumbled recently. I think they need to let him go.
Do you think Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, do you think he's going to be like one of the next coaches fired?
I'm surprised the Jaguars didn't fire him already. I mean, they're having a horrible season. I mean, I didn't think they're going to be that bad, but woof.
True. Well, we reached the end of the show. So, Jonathan, where can my viewers find you at?
They can find me on Twitter at JRedShow, and I've also started accounts on Threads and Blue Sky.
What is the at tags for those?
What?
What is the username for those two that you just mentioned?
Just Google Blue Sky. They're both on the JRed Show.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and go Bills.